Hey guys, I'm back for another video today. Hopefully you guys can hear me. But we're gonna kind of break into this Iraq war. Sorry you guys can't really see my face, but you can hopefully see the board for the most part. This is a very simple little thing I got going here. So back in 2001, 9/11 happened, right? 9/11. A lot of people do or don't know what happened, um, but basically Al Qaeda. We got attacked by Al Qaeda um, at the directive of Osama bin Laden. Well, anyways, Twin Towers in New York City were attacked. By the way, I've been to the memorial site. The Pentagon was attacked, and there was another airplane that was also flown into the middle of the field as well. They made a movie about it. But all in all, almost 2,996 U.S. deaths. So 2,996 U.S. deaths. So in retaliation, we decided to invade Afghanistan. That's where Osama bin Laden was, allegedly. So we did the whole invasion thing. I think we sent the Rangers, SEAL Team 6, Delta 4. Like, we sent a bunch of people over there to try to hunt down this guy, right? Hunt down this guy who's responsible, the leader who's responsible for 2,996 U.S. deaths. Um, so we went over there. We tried a few things, didn't work. Delta Force was up in the mountains trying to get them. We let them slip through. In my opinion, the reason why we let them slip through is because, like I said, in my opinion, we we like war. The United States is always liked war, and war makes what? Money. Makes trillions of dollars of money. So we invaded, did our thing, and he escaped. He escaped across the border. They did like a news thing on it. They brought the Delta Force commander Fury uh, to try to explain his side of the story. So just a complete foul up, complete fuck up, really. So when that invasion did not go well, by the way, we were trying to empower the Mujahideen. We were using Fifth Special Forces. Um, we were trying to get them in power. Didn't really work like we wanted to. We were hoping for it to work. It didn't work. Now, the original goal was to go in and kill UBL. All right, UBL. That was the original goal. Was go in and get UBL. Hopefully, you guys can see that. We ended up trying to create a government. So we didn't get them. Oops. We didn't get them. We failed on that front. And then we tried to set up a government for them. Why? We're trying to set up a government for them, a democratic system, if you will, for them. Doesn't really make any sense because they're like, these people are like ancient. Most of them have never even seen their own neighbors miles away from them. They've stayed in their own little compartment. So Afghanistan is not a place where you're going to be able to just all of a sudden set up some United States esque system. Not going to work at all. So we tried to set up a puppet government for them. Failed. So we got bored, right? We got bored, and for no reason, this is what pissed me off. For no reason, we decided to slip over to Iraq. Now, by the way, before this period of time, you guys can even look it up. Saddam Hussein actually had been to the United States, but also Saddam Hussein uh, basically was the dictator of Iraq, and he was known for committing all kinds of atrocities. You guys, I'm not going to give you guys a history on Saddam Hussein. He's an evil man. He's an evil man, but just like a lot of other dictators in the world, they're all evil. The only system that's really truly worked up until a couple of years ago, the United States really is the only system that's really worked. Other systems have failed. Everybody else has tried everything else. It's not really worked. People live in fear in those other countries. Anyways, we invaded Iraq, even though we've been the ones giving money. We're giving Saddam Hussein lots of money and lots of weapons and stuff, right? Then he started using those weapons on his own people that we had given. Now we're like, oh, now we got to invade Iraq. So that's what we did. We decided to invade and take down the guy that we've been empowering this entire time to set up again another government. So we took down Saddam Hussein, which, by the way, they were actually a lot more stable when Saddam Hussein was in charge. Now, you may say, well, he was doing it wrong. He was killing his own people, he was doing all these things, gassing people. Iraq was more stable under Saddam Hussein, which means he was the head and everybody else is underneath him. That system basically worked for that country. Now, when the Bush administration came in, they decided to let's mix things up. Let's take down Saddam Hussein's. By the way, his party, Saddam Hussein's party, was the Ba'ath Party. Hopefully, you guys can see that. The Ba'ath Party. If you can't see it, just listen to what I'm saying. Try not to give you any false information, but his Ba'ath Party, and underneath his Ba'ath Party, which, by the way, they were more or less a terrorist organization, he had his Iraqi army. I should have put that probably on top. His Iraqi army. It's pretty big, pretty sizable size. And then he also had his paramilitary force called the Fedayeen. And then his most elite forces were the Republican Guard. The Republican Guard were the most elite. He would give his people cars and stuff. He would really take care of his Republican Guard and elite. Well, when the Bush administration came in and disbanded the Iraqi army after we took down Saddam Hussein, by the way, I wrote a book on it. I think it was December 13th, 2003, we captured him. We captured him. Delta Force captured him. Yes, yes. Now, I will admit that I was fooled. I was fooled by this. I wrote a book about it. I was like, yes, for America. Why were we in Iraq again? Once again, go back to the beginning. Why did we invade Iraq? Because we basically failed in Afghanistan, realized that we could make money, more money. So let's just go, over and invade Iraq. That's literally what we did. We slipped across the border. Literally what we did. Special forces, everybody slipped across the border into Iraq and invaded them under Bush. So Bush, I would say Bush is a war monger. I don't even know if I'm spelling it wrong. Right. Mongering criminal. He's a warmongering criminal. So all the stuff that we did over there did not work. Now let me pull up my phone here because I don't want to just do this from the top of my head. I would like to more or less read it to you. But basically, when they were taken down, so we've pretty much forgotten about Al Qaeda, more or less. They're all gone, whatever. We kind of knocked them out the park in Afghanistan. But when we disbanded their army, what happened to all those young men? Elite guards, paramilitary, and the normal Iraqi army. What happened to all those people? Oh, you got a bunch of angry young men standing around the street not doing anything. So guess what they're going to start doing? They're going to start forming little, cliques. I hope I'm spelling this right. That's as easy I could put it. Cliques. Now, like the Islamic State, once again, some of these terrorist organizations that the United States has, the Kurds had their own thing. the Shia, the Sunnis. Everybody started vying for power. So when we took down we took down Saddam Hussein, that left a bunch of cliques and groups. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Green Zone, but it didn't work. It literally did not work. We tried to form a puppet government like we did in goddamn Afghanistan, and it failed just like everything else. We tried this in Vietnam, failed. We tried this, well, I don't remember if we tried, but in Korea, we've just invaded a lot of countries and failed. We have absolutely failed. Um, so now you have all these um, terrorist organizations in Iraq, right? All you start hearing about all these weird groups of people popping up. Um, the awakening, some people like to call it the awakening of where these people, these different um, Islamic groups started committing acts of terrorism on each other because they were vying for power. So what we essentially did when we invaded Iraq illegally, by the way, illegally. Where's my? Can't find my other thing, but we created more terrorist organizations. Now, you guys will hear people like vigilance. What's the name of that YouTuber? He's a former Navy SEAL. But okay, here's a couple. I'm just gonna write these down really quick. Uh, Mike, Mike drop, Mike, Mike drop, uh, vigilance. I hope I'm man. My I suck. Vigilance elite. I'll just basically um was it cleared hot? These are some of the most popular podcasts. And there's a lot of other guys that have their own podcasts that served in this war, more or less. But they'll give you guys a lot of stories about us going over there. I know Mike Ritland. He's got a lot of Iraqi veterans that they talk about their time over their seas killing people over there. Vigilance Elite, the Sean Ryan, that's his name, Sean Ryan, Andy Stumpf. They talk on their podcast about killing people um, in Iraq, basically during their times. I don't remember if he did or not. Sean Ryan, I think he got. I don't remember if he got hurt or something happened. When it was his career, probably ended a little faster than some Navy SEALs. So I don't know if he really got. I think he was on like oil rigs. He did oil rig operations. Um, I think Mike Ritland he was a dog handler. I think he was a dog handler, but he was basically these two guys. Well, they're all three Navy SEALs. Um, and he was the guy was a deaf group guy. Andy Stumpf, Clear Hot podcast. But these guys will bring people on their podcast and they'll talk about how they killed lots and lots of people. Um, you know, um, overseas. I listen at least his podcasts a lot, and he's had some Green Beret guy, just half Asian guy, forget his name, Mike something, but and they'll brag about killing people overseas. Um, oh yeah, man, I got this really cool kill, you know. And we wonder why no one respects veterans of today's veterans. Talking about modern day veterans, is because of this war, mainly. We brag about going over on these podcasts. They brag about going over there killing people, but no one really wants to talk about that we illegally invaded Iraq. So it wasn't a righteous war. Now, World War II, I'm gonna say was the last righteous war, more or less. But us going over in the Gulf and and doing all these things, going and invading and bombing the shit out of other countries was absolutely wrong. Um, I think the only war. Okay, well, I will say, the, with 9/11, our retaliation to Afghanistan was warranted. You're gonna get if you come over and kill 3,000 people, we're gonna come over there and just destroy you. And that's what we did. But then we decided to come over here and invade Iraq. The Bush administration, warmongering war criminal George W. Bush, was it Dick Cheney as well? Oh, anyways, all of them. They decided to come over here and legally invade. So now you got all these people at the very bottom of the totem pole, Navy SEALs, whatever, um, that brag about going over and killing people in Iraq. Jocko's podcast. Jocko, I'm just gonna write Jocko. It talks about his task unit bruiser. Talks about going over and like blocking off, streets and killing people on his podcast with his Navy SEAL team. SEAL team, was it three? Um, anyways, yeah, they talked about going over and just killing people in neighborhoods. So Matt, okay, picture this, guys. You're in your neighborhood here in the United States, and Russia and China decide to come over and invade us. They decide to go door to door, give you a certain amount of hours to get out. They're going to kill every military age male. It's what we did. And that's what Jocko and his team of Navy SEALs, Bruiser team, was known for doing. Um, they were going in the streets. Marine Corps was also. We were going over there and just bombing the shit out of Iraq and killing people, killing a lot of people. If we would not have invaded Iraq, Saddam Hussein would still be there committing atrocities on his own people, but at least we wouldn't be the ones involved going over and just killing thousands. We created a hit list of Iraq's. And by the way, guys, I took this hit hook, line, and sinker. Um, the deck, the deck of 55 or whatever. Saddam Hussein was at the top. His boys went over there, and we took everybody out. We took everybody out, but knowing that our track record for building governments is at a loss, we still decided to go over there and invade. And yeah, we haven't. And Iraq has never recovered since today. We still have people getting Medal of Honors and stuff like that from Iraq. What the hell are we doing in Iraq? Right? What the hell are we doing in Iraq? Now, um, so yeah, I, I don't know. When we talk about use terms like for America and for freedom and for justice, it's bullshit, guys. It's bullshit. That's bullshit. um, for freedom and for America, Afghanistan, invasion of Afghanistan, yes, that was for America because they killed 3,000 of our people. Al Qaeda did. So yes, we're gonna fuck those guys up. Now, here, us just we saw that they have weapons of mass destruction, which, by the way, they never did. Saddam Hussein never. We just never found any, right? Um, yeah, weapons of mass destruction. Never found them. We decided to go over and invade. Now, these stories that Andy Stumpf and some of these guys are telling, the stories really good, cool stories of Navy SEALs and Marines, going in and killing bad guys, would be cool if the war was a righteous war. It was not a righteous war. It was not a righteous war. It was an illegal invasion of Iraq. And nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody says, well, we invaded Iraq, there's just other reasons, But it's wrong. We never should have invaded Iraq. Just like we never should have invaded Yemen. We never should have invaded Libya, which I think was Tripoli. Tripoli, yeah, well, I'm sorry. Tripoli, I think in Libya. By the way, we're on the Horn of Africa. We are all over the world. We have bases all over the world. Um, we have bases all over the world of places. By the way, Do you guys remember that Jack? This is a Jack Murphy story about. Remember, it's like a like team of Green Berets got killed, and they were down in. Oh man, where was that? Well, anyways, we had a bunch of guys down in Africa, and we're like, what the hell is our people doing in Africa? We were down in Africa and hunting down terrorists. We're not supposed to be. We're not supposed to be doing all of this extra shit that we've been doing. We have not invaded. We didn't. It was not been a righteous war. So from the very root, from here and on, is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Um, so the stories that these guys are telling you here, this Navy SEALs telling these stories, are really cool, but they're not cool because we illegally invaded Iraq. We illegally invaded Iraq, and nobody, you won't hear those guys on their pockets say, what was wrong with what we did. I've yet to hear anybody say it because they know if they said that, that would invalidate all of the stories that they've told about them sacrificing their families, divorces. I mean, like the divorce rate in Navy SEAL community is like what 70%, probably higher. Um, and in the Army as well, like every branch, people sacrifice their families for a illegal war. So we're going overseas and killing people, and then the guise of for the freedom of America, for freedom and democracy, which is bullshit because our leaders were making trillions of dollars off of oil, and we were just and weapons. So the war machine. So the war machine, oil and the war machine. That was why we did it. And if you can ask, I would love to ask Andy Stumpf and some of these guys, you know, the reason why they um, decided to sign up for this. They'll say, well, I want to do something bigger than myself. I want to help people out. Yeah, helping people out. There's ways to help people out. There's humanitarian. There's all kinds of ways of helping countries out with food and water and stuff like that, right? If we're going to be helping out countries, now that's not the perfect way to do it because you still have terrorists over there. Well, we were the ones, Bush administration, created those terrorists. We created those terrorists. Maybe we could have worked. Let's just say, well, not every dictator you could work with, but let's just say that we worked because we have worked with him in the past. Saddam Hussein, work with Saddam Hussein and say, hey man, hey, let's do some deals where we can make a mutual benefit. You know, oil, we can get some oil from you guys, but we're also going to give you incentives to not hurt your people or to do whatever the hell he was doing over there, right? And try to work with a foreign government than invasion, because invasion created tiny little terrorist organizations spawned off of other groups of people from all these people that were just left in the street. And we just like, well, cool. And that's what we did with Afghanistan, by the way. In the end, we abandoned all those people. And I'm sure thousands and thousands of people died that worked with U.S. Special Forces and some of these other. They were able to get some of those people out, but it was our fault that we bailed, of course, like we usually do. When the going gets tough, we sit over in the country for hundreds, for 20 plus years, and we fail. We did the same thing with Vietnam. It wasn't for 20, I don't think it was for 20 years, but basically we just sat over there. We got a bunch of U.S. forces killed in a country called Vietnam. Remember, Muhammad Ali said that no one had ever called him the N word in Vietnam, and yet they still try to force him to fight overseas. He was right, by the way. He was absolutely right. Muhammad Ali was absolutely right. Um, but like I said, let's take it hook, line, and sinker. By the way, we also support Saudi Arabia. By the way, they kill gays. They kill people of alternative lifestyles. They still stone behead people for witchcraft. And yet we still work with their government. We also worked with China, who we always say that China is the greatest threat to the United States. We work with China as well. Um, Israel has committed its own atrocities. Look at that journalist. And by the way, Israel has been known to commit acts of terrorism on Palestinians that live in Israel. And we support Israel as well. And nobody wants to really say that. Everybody says, well, no, we're doing the right thing. But we have supported terrorism all around the world. We've funded terrorist organizations. We even brought Nazis over from after World War II. Hope you guys didn't know about that. Look at Unit 731, I think. We took their doctors and used them over here, and some of them taught at universities. The United States is evil. It's evil. Um, we don't free the oppressed. Because if we free the oppressed, then the oppressed wouldn't still be oppressed. Afghanistan, and then the first day, everything fell apart. We've been over there for 20 years, over 20 years, and Afghanistan fell apart the moment we left. So, fail. Iraq, same thing. All these other countries that we've bombed the shit out of, failed, failed, failed. They made like the movie like 7 hours, or whatever it was, with John Krasinski and yeah, failed. We have CIA black sites over there, and we failed again. So we have supported organizations of terrorism. By the way, we've invaded. I forget. It's like I forget how many countries we've been. Philippines. We have literally been everywhere. Um, Give me 1 second, guys. Countries. U.S. has invaded. We've just invaded. Man, we have invaded a lot of countries. Um, yeah, we've invaded a lot of countries. The list is fairly endless, I guess you'd say. Um, Yemen, yeah, Yemen's one of the main ones. Obviously, Libya. My phone is glitching out on me, or else I would read some of the countries that we've invaded, and yet we're still giving Russia a hard time for invading two of its neighbors, Crimea, Ukraine. Oh, we got to put sanctions on them. We weren't sanctioning, by the way, Putin. Putin's going to be all right. We sanction the Russian people, and that's what's bullshit about the United States. We always say, "Oh, for the glory of the United States." Bullshit. It's not for the glory of the United States. We have illegally invaded, or not. We've illegally sanctioned the Russian people. The only people who are suffering from this are the Russians. The Russian economy is going to fall apart because the United States is invaded. By the way, Ukraine wants like $750 billion. Yeah, wants $750 billion to rebuild its economy, which is more than the Afghanistan war, I believe. Probably the whole war, probably just almost as much as the war on terror. Um, but we have just um, we've been in South America. That's right. We've been down in South America. We've invaded all these countries. Now, some of these countries asked for help, yes, but Iraq, we just decided to step through the door and invade because this would be fun. That's all I got for you guys today. Hit that like, subscribe button. Something for you guys to think about. Continue checking my content and talk to you guys later. Love you guys. Peace.